Welcome back to Align Dish. This is your host, Emily Azizi. Before we start today's episode, I just want to say thank you to every single one who's been supporting us. I really appreciate every single one of you. Make sure to like on YouTube, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram at Emily Azizi and at Align Dish Podcast. Today's guests wear many hats. He's a writer, director, actor, and comedian. He's an advocate for the Jewish community. He appeared on Jimmy Kimmel Live. He's been on Dr. Phil. He worked alongside big names in the industry such as Jeremy Piven, Tiffany Haddish, Mario Adrian, and many more. He's actively performing at the world-famous Laugh Factory Hollywood. Give it up for Menachem Silverstein.
Hey. Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome.
This is so fun.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. And you are brunette now.
I know. Shocker. Everyone that's watching us on YouTube, she is brunette now. I was going to Photoshop the photo, but I'm like, who cares? I might go back.
I love now this variety. Now we have the blonde and the brunette.
You know what? At the end of the day, it's just hair. I'm still me.
True.
Yeah.
Which do you prefer, or are you still getting used to the brunette?
I'm taking a break because it's very high maintenance. So I'm taking a break. I also say it's like a money pit. It's just constant. But I'm also...
So I shouldn't dye my beard. I
mean,
go
you
blonde
should try.
beard.
Why not? Yeah. But I'm also doing this for a role. So we'll see how long this one lasts.
Exciting. Congratulations.
Yes. But welcome. So happy to have you. And also happy belated birthday. It was your birthday.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
May we ask how much you turn? How young you are?
It's Hollywood, so I just keep getting younger every year.
Yes.
So I'm still over 18, but if I stay long enough.
He's legal. We're good. Okay, cool. Okay, before we jump into your career, I want to know a little bit about your childhood. You grew up in Brooklyn, New York, in an Orthodox Jewish household. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I grew up in Brooklyn, the factory where Orthodox Jews are made, and I was one of 7.
Oh,
so
wow.
a large family.
So 7 siblings or 7 in the family?
So 6 siblings.
Gotcha.
And then my parents. So 9 people smushed into an apartment.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So who are you and the siblings?
So I'm the third.
You're the third. Okay.
So I'm I'm the youngest of the oldest because it kind of breaks up to the poor middle child, then the 3 youngest and the 3 oldest.
How many boys? How many girls?
5 boys, 2 girls.
Oh,
So boy home.
How cute.
Which is funny because my wife is 8 girls, 2 boys.
Wow.
So she grew up the opposite, but very.
That's so
we
cool.
both grew up with tons of kids.
Okay, so how was that growing up? Were your parents strict? Were they relaxed? How was that?
So my parents were awesome, but definitely stricter. So they weren't raised religious.
Mm-hmm. They were not.
They were not.
Oh,
so they were
okay.
raised kind of more regular, like American Jews, and then they became Orthodox, got married, and had us.
Oh.
So I feel like at first, when I was younger, they were definitely a lot stricter when it came to the music we could listen to, the movies we could watch, because in the community in Brooklyn, it was definitely frowned upon to watch any movies or any TV shows. It was very insular.
Gotcha.
And that's why to me that's part of the reason I just loved movies and TV, because it was such a treat, and I was this is such a cool, amazing thing to be a part of.
Okay, I see. So how would you say that shaped you? How long were they not strict, but how long was it like that? Has it always been like that? How did that affect you?
So I feel it's definitely my parents got way more lenient as it went along. We would never listen to the radio. Oh my gosh, just listen to non-Jewish music. No. Meanwhile, with my sister, my youngest sister, my mom would play the radio and drive down the street.
Oh, okay.
And I'm wow, that's a completely different childhood and upbringing.
Right.
But I liked it. So to me, it was cool because I was raised religious, but none of my grandparents or cousins were. So it was nice to kind of have that perspective.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you. Did you realize this, or when did you realize oh, you guys don't listen to the radio? When did that
Yeah, it definitely was interesting for me because my grandmother was concerned. She's I didn't want these kids to be Orthodox, too insular, and kind of be weird, for lack of a better term. So she would tape TV shows on VHSs for us and mail it to us. So we would have TV shows on VHSs.
Got you. Were you always funny, or did your family see you as annoying?
My family definitely saw me as annoying at times, for sure. So when you're one of 7, you have to stand out, and being funny is a way to stand out. For me, I was kind of annoying because for a couple of reasons. I was always either coming up with a business idea or coming up with a script idea or coming up with a joke. I would also do plays, like for Hanukkah for my family, like I'd put on a play. So I'd like scribble. I couldn't write at the time. So I was little. I was like 5. So I'd like pretend to make a script. And then I'd give my siblings the scripts. And even though there were no lines, I would like give them lines and make them memorize the lines that weren't on it. And I was directing, we'd put on these like little plays and stuff for my family. So it was like, I was always like wanted to put on these productions and be funny and be exciting and like make up games and things. And most of the time it was fun, but with like my business ideas, it definitely, like my older sister's like, you get to pitch me one idea a day. That's it. Like you're cut off.
You're like, only one a day?
And I'm like, what do you mean?
I love that.
But just like ending on that, like what was kind of nice about my dad, my siblings started getting tired of me a little bit with like certain things, like with the business ideas. And like my dad would always, or like the script ideas, and my dad would always sit and be patient and listen to me. And I finally looked at him and I was like, am I not annoying you? Because everyone else was annoyed.
Oh, that's so cute.
And he looked at me and he was like, you can always come to me with ideas. Some of them are good and some of them are bad, I'll be honest. But the fact that you keep coming up with ideas means that your like brain is working the right way, and like eventually you'll come up with something amazing. So if you need me to be your sounding board, I'm always here to listen to it, which was really sweet.
That is so beautiful. I love that. I feel like especially as a parent, it's so important to like, you know, like support. So I love that for you.
Yeah. And like, I don't think he realized how much it meant to me at the time.
Yeah.
And like me now being a parent, it's like, I have to understand the responsibility of like those little moments and those little passes and like, you know,
how old were you when he said this to you?
Teens. Probably
teenager.
Like 14.
14. Okay. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So I was like bigger, but like still a kid and still definitely like impressionable.
Gotcha. How was it in school? Like, how was your school experience?
My school experience was interesting. Overall, it was very good.
Okay.
There was kind of like a little bit of a situation like in Harry Potter where they're like mudbloods. So like people whose parents weren't raised religious were a little bit othered.
So was it a Jewish school?
So it was a Jewish school. So all Orthodox school.
Okay.
All boys school.
Okay.
So I was only around boys.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it was very like in my community it's very taboo. Like boys and girls cannot talk until they're ready to get married. There's this weird thing of like, don't talk to a girl, don't look at a girl. But the second you're like old enough to get married, it's like, go get married right away and have a bunch of kids. And it's like, what are you talking about? Like I haven't spoken to any girl in my entire life. And like now I'm supposed to just marry one.
Right.
Even though I kind of like had girls I spoke to, but.
Gotcha. Okay.
Bad boy.
So, but how, like, was it okay? Like, did you have a lot of friends? Were you bullied? Like, how was it in school?
I had a lot of friends. I was really lucky that my grade was made up of 4 classes. We had a very big grade. And my class, we were lucky where like everyone got along.
Oh, okay.
Like whether you were like a more of a sporty kid,
like
more of an academic. Unheard of.
You were normal? You had a good school?
It was the weirdest thing in the world. And what's so funny is like all the other classes didn't. Like they had like, there was like the outclass cast and the cool class and like all these different classes. And in our class, for whatever reason, like the shy kids and the popular kids and the sporty kids and the nerdy kids just got along. And we all kind of like had each other's backs.
What category did you fall in since you were directing and being creative and funny?
So definitely not sporty. Like I was popular where like I was always fun to hang out with and I always was good to schmooze with. So my friends would like kind of pity pick me on their teams. Like we want Menachem to be on our team so he'll talk to us, but we don't want him to play the sport. Like we don't trust him like that. And there were like certain things like I was like an okay pitcher in baseball and I was like okay at basketball, but I was never like that sporty. But I was always like, so when I was younger, I thrived more when it was like imagination games and let's play, like let's run around. Like that was good for me. When we transitioned to sports, I was like, darn.
Okay, cool. I want to talk about your family a little bit more. So you're married and you're a father of 2, correct?
Yeah.
So
I love you did your research. You have all this down. I'm impressed.
Yes. Just kidding. Okay, so how did you meet your wife?
So I met my wife.
You graduated school and then like how did that happen?
I met her on the subway.
On the subway?
So what was kind of interesting, so again, like Orthodox usually date through a matchmaker and usually meet through a matchmaker. And what happened was me and my friend were going to the city because I'm from New York, so we were going to Chelsea Pier. Okay. And there's basically like we were doing a parkour class. There's like a massive kind of gymnasium and it's like an adult's playground where you could just like backflip and do all this like fun stuff. So we were heading to parkour and my wife and her 2 friends get on the train. And it just so happened that like I was with my craziest friend and she was with her craziest friend. they knew each other because the night before by a concert, they got drunk and threw up together.
Okay.
So they right away were like, oh, hey, good to see you again.
Wow.
And what happened was they were just going to the city. And my friend's like, oh, we're going to this parkour class. It's so fun. You should come with us. And again, at the time, like we weren't really hanging out with girls because you're not supposed to. And then they came with us and we took the train there and hung out and then like hung out during the class. And on the way home, we're like talking to each other. And then like respectfully, I went through a matchmaker like for
You're
my
like,
parents
I
and
found
her
her. I
parents.
did your job.
Literally. But I like, I came home and I was like right to my mom, like, there's a girl that I want to date. And my mother's like, what are you talking about? Like, you just went to like a random parkour class in Chelsea. You're like, what is this girl that you met? And it just so happened that like my parents knew her parents, like they had met before. So it was kind of like, they were like, oh yeah, that's a good family. Like, we'll let you go out with her.
Did she come from a Jewish family or did she?
So she came from a similar thing where her parents weren't raised religious, became religious later in life. So it kind of like worked out nicely.
It was just meant to be.
It's meant to be. The Hebrew word is bashert.
Bashert.
It was meant to be.
How cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so how is it being a father? How's fatherhood like?
It is amazing and terrifying and wonderful and horrifying and scary. I think it's like somehow all the adjectives and verbs like and everything at once. Because it's the most beautiful thing when you come home and there's just like somebody looking at you and just like loves you. And it's like, oh my gosh, just runs to you and gives you a hug. And you're like, oh, I'm doing this right. And then your like 6-year-old daughter will be like, you're the worst father. And I'm like, what? Like, you don't pay rent. I'm an amazing father. Like, you're doing great. So yeah, so it's definitely like a challenge. But, you know, like we were talking about before with like, you know, the story with my father. As a parent, there's so much responsibility. And I think that, you know, like there's so many things that you have to kind of balance at the same time where you want to make sure that they feel like loved and taken care of and safe and secure, but you also want them to be like empowered. And like there's so many things, you know, going on at the same time. And I think it's like really, you know, taking it day by day. But I feel like if I had to sum it up into one word, I feel really lucky. I'm lucky that I have the opportunity to like have these kids and raise these kids. And, you know, I hope I give them a small part of what they bring to my life because they just bring, you know, so much light and joy into my life, even when they're calling me a terrible father. And I'm like, I thought this happens when you're a teenager, not
Literally,
a 6-year-old, but
wow, at
sass.
6?
Yeah.
Is she the oldest?
She's the youngest.
She's the youngest? Oh
yeah. She was like, I once asked her to like clear her plate after dinner.
Yeah.
And she was like, don't talk to me like one of your workers, Abba. Because Abba's like father in Hebrew. And I looked at her, I was like, that's a lot of attitude. And also, like, I treat my workers right. Like, why are you assuming I treat my workers terribly and I'm yelling at people? It was really funny.
I love that.
And it was
That's
her mess.
so funny.
So funny.
Oh my God.
She's a genius, but also monster.
Wow. Well, good luck in the teens.
Oh my gosh, I know. Like, I'm already scared.
You'll be fine. So how do you and your wife like navigate raising your children Jewish in a modern society like today? Like, do you guys want them to be very religious or how do you see that?
So I'm trying to raise them religious. I think that like, at least the like way I was taught Judaism is it's really supposed to be used to enhance your life. And ultimately, like, you're supposed to make the world a better place. You're not supposed to, you know, like, separate yourself and go hide in a corner as a Jewish person. Like, what you're supposed to do is, like, there's a Hebrew term called, like, Or La'olam, which is, like, a light onto the nations, like, a light to the world, where it's, like, you're supposed to, you know, leave a room better and brighter than when you walked in. And that, like, so I think that for me, raising the kids, I want them to, you know, be religious like me, but I also really want them to be part of the world and experience the world and have all different kinds of friends. Like the school that they're in right now, which I love, it's a very Orthodox school, but at the same time, some of their, like, in the school, they all wear their kippah and their tzitzit and they pray and all this stuff. But some of their friends wear a kippah and tzitzit out of school, and some of their friends don't wear a kippah and don't even keep kosher outside. But like they come together and find this commonality. And I think that, you know, like, we try to do that in our house. Like when we have a Shabbat dinner, we have all different types of Jews and non-Jews.
Right.
And it's kind of like, you know, I think that, you know, having all of these different people coming together is like really beautiful. And it's what the world needs to be.
Yeah.
If everyone's the same, would be boring. We should like learn from each other and
absolutely and, like, embrace each other's difference.
100%. Like, think about it. If we just let white people be in charge of food, how awful would food be? Like, you know what I mean? Persians know like you guys add like so much flavor.
Yes.
And
we have the saffron.
What's so funny is like my wife last night was like,
yeah.
she saw it was like a saffron chocolate cake kind of thing. And I was like, she's like, you have to make this for me. I'm like, do you understand how expensive saffron is? Like to get proper saffron? Like this
it's
is
like
work.
more expensive than gold.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
like, you know,
yeah.
when I sell a TV show, we get saffron. That's
literally. I love that. Okay. We are going to talk about your career, but before that, just touch base a little bit. How do you juggle family life and also having like creative work? Like, how does that work for you?
I'm lucky in the stand-up realm where family life actually feeds into the comedy a lot because life is funny. Being a parent, being a husband, being a father, all these things lead to just, you know, very funny scenarios that.
So that's like your inspiration, like where you get inspo from?
For a lot of different things, for sure. You know, like again, just, and I say this on stage, like my wife woke me up one night, 3 a.m., shakes me. She's like, how could you? I was like, what happened? She's like, I had a dream that you murdered me for no reason. And I was like, maybe I murdered you for waking me up at 3 a.m. for no reason.
Yeah.
And that was like an actual conversation I had. And I'm like, that's really funny. Let's say that on stage. And that's like, I didn't write that joke. I just retold the story of like what happened.
Yeah.
But I think also it's, at least for me, like it's easier to be creative when you have that like nice, stable home life and you have something to like do it for and live for. And it also makes it like, you know, it makes it special and it makes it meaningful. Like, okay, I'm gonna spend time away from my family. It better be worth it. I better, you know, like I better make this performance worth it. If I'm missing out on, you know, moments with my children, like let me make sure it matters.
Right. Is your wife a stay-at-home wife or is like mom? Does she work on the side? Like how, because you work late nights too, right?
Yeah. So I work nights, I travel, all different things depending if I'm on set, if I'm directing, if I'm filming, if like whatever it is. So with my wife, she just graduated nursing school.
Oh, congratulations.
So thank you so much. So she's a nurse.
Wow.
So she's going to start being a nurse. But she had her kind of like ups and downs with working. Right when we had the kids, she'd be home with them. Then she was working a little bit and being home with them. Then she has been going to school for the past couple of years, which is insane. Like she went through it like an expedited nursing program. So she was balancing
a lot,
nursing school and helping raise the kids. And I was like trying to pick up any slack and picking up the kids from school and like whatever I could do while trying to balance my career and stuff. And it was definitely challenging, but I think that's also kind of like nice to have a partner in it where like
for sure
I could lean on her, she could lean on me.
Yeah.
And I hope the kids don't fall through the cracks.
Right. Well, that's beautiful. I like that. Do your kids think you're funny or embarrassing?
So what's really funny is my kids overall think I'm funny.
Okay.
Also, I filmed this Orthodox Jewish superhero show. So there's this company called Tovito. And it's basically like a streamer and it's Orthodox Jewish kids content, essentially. So it's kind of like web series and different stuff. So they asked me to make this superhero character. And just based on the budget or lack of budget, I am the superhero. Oh. So now I'm really cool to like the kids in their class because like in the show, like I fly and I have all these powers. So like, so that kind of helped a lot. But my son, who I love and is really smart, but also vicious. So our mutual friend, Tehran, to my kids is Amu.
Yeah.
And whenever he's really upset with me, he'll be like, Amu's funnier than you.
Ouch.
And I'm like, whoa. I'm like, that's just mean to be mean.
Oh my God, that's so mean.
Because he knows that it hurts. Even though like Tehran is definitely has his moments where equal. But I don't hear my son say that out loud. I'm like, if anyone's going to root for me, you should root for me.
They do say like your kids roast you better than no one else.
Yeah. Vicious.
No filter. Okay, but how about your parents? Like, what do they think about your career?
So first, I want to pause and just say that, like, I'm really impressed with the questions. Like, I love that, like, you have questions ready to go, and like, you're putting it together so well. So, like, kudos to like really.
Thank you. Do you guys? Do you hear this? Thank you.
My parents have their ups and their downs. They really wanted me to be a lawyer, like any good, you know, Jewish parent, any good immigrant parent. It's like. They struggled.
Yeah.
They want us to have the best life that we can. And, you know, like becoming a lawyer, a doctor, an accountant, whatever that is, like to them, a dentist, not a chiropractor though. No. Yeah. But that's the one they draw the line. but they like really want you to like have a good privileged life and not
Yes,
struggle like, you know,
yes.
they did or their parents did or their grandparents did.
Yeah.
So they're always like, you know, trying to do what's best.
Mm-hmm.
So my parents wanted me to be a lawyer.
Right.
When I decided I want to do this instead, it was definitely a transition for them. Like my mother was even like, go to law school, become a lawyer, and then you can do all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And to me, I was worried. I'm like, if I'm either in debt from being, you know, going to law school, or even if I get a ride, but I put all this time and effort into being a lawyer, like I'll probably end up being a lawyer.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I need to kind of like go out there with a little bit of a, not no safety net, but like a very, very small safety net so I can like really pursue this. But what was kind of funny was one of the first times my mom saw me do stand up, like not from clips. She basically was like, would you like me to watch and enjoy or take notes? And I was like,
that is so serious.
But it was like, and it was a real question. And I was like, whatever makes you happy. And she's like, I'll take notes. I'm like, okay. So she goes to the bartender, she borrows a pen, she has her napkin, her piece of paper, she's ready to take notes. And at the end of the set, she walked over to me and she's like, I'm proud of you, no notes. And I was like, wow.
That's so
like,
beautiful.
that was really sweet. And I think now they definitely came around to it, like being able to do the thing on Jimmy Kimmel. Like a lot of people that she knew saw me on Jimmy Kimmel, so that was cool. You know, like the television shows they've been on, performing at the Laugh Factory regularly, you know, getting to have my like picture on the banner at the Laugh Factory. Like all of those accomplishments really help. They get it now. And the fact that like I'm married with kids and able to support them being creative, which is so hard, but thank God I'm able to do. I think now they're coming around for sure.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy to hear that. That's so beautiful. Yeah.
Are your parents supportive? How do they feel about this podcast?
Well, thank you for asking me. No. So I feel like my parents overall are very supportive. However, they are Persian. So they wanted me to be a lawyer or like, you know, doctor, this and that. Like,
which one did they specifically want for you?
Lawyer.
Lawyer.
She's like, the way you talk, you're good at arguments. Like, you're this, you're that, you're so professional. You have to become a lawyer. It was like, yeah. Did
that make you happy, or did you hear it as like, they don't think you're smart enough to become a doctor? Because when my parents said like lawyer, I was like, wait a second, am I not good enough?
No. So my brother, he doesn't like blood, so they were already like prepared for me not to like blood either. So they were okay with that. They're like, you don't have to be a doctor, we can be a lawyer.
Right. They're like, just not a chiropractor.
Yeah.
Just
no, but I feel like we're going to talk about that a little bit more in the positive segment. But at the end of the day, as long as I'm happy and can make a living and survive. But I also feel like I wish I could say, yes, they saw the visions prior, but that's not the case. It's literally like, you have to prove yourself. And then they're like, we knew you could do it. Like, I'm proud of you. So like, I know that they support me in whatever I do, and they are very proud of me. But before the vision became reality, it was a little more difficult to explain.
Yeah. Which I think that like, if you don't have parents that are again, like, immigrant-y, you don't always get it. But again, it's this, but it is out of this like immense love for you that they're like,
absolutely.
And what's funny is like when my son tells me, he's like, oh, I want to write movies and TV shows too. And I look at him, I'm like, go become a lawyer. What are you thinking? What are you doing? Because I don't want him to have a hard life. I want him to have the easiest life. But the truth is, again, lawyers don't have an easy life. Like they work hard.
Yes. Specifically with the lawyers, I was a legal assistant. So I did work at a law firm and I did that. And I was really good at it too. So I'm like, who knows? Like Kim Kardashian's becoming a lawyer at like, how old is she? Like 40 plus? Like who knows what the future holds? But as of right now, I'm chilling. I'm okay. Okay. But so you're a husband, you're a dad, clearly a funny one. But how did you get into this career? Like actually, like how did you get into comedy specifically?
So long story short, I always loved stand-up. The second I found like stand-up, like any sort of stand-up records, which, you know, my first ones were like Mel Brooks, Bill Cosby, which one I don't like anymore, but his, oh my gosh, his bit, like him talking to like Noah, talking to God was so funny.
Yeah.
But whenever I like, once I came across stand-up and I really, you know, like Mitch Hedberg, the Borscht Belt comedians, all those guys were so funny. I always like wanted to do stand-up. I always wanted to make people laugh and entertain people. I thought it was a little too aggressive to like wear a kippah and tzitzit on stage. I thought like people, it would like be a turnoff and be like too aggressive. Okay. So I did like a little bit of open mics, but never really leaned into it. And then what happened was I was writing a pilot, and it was like a mockumentary about the making of a comedy special. And the person I was writing it, one of the people I was writing it with, was going to play a comedian on the show. And when we pitched it, they were like, oh, and you'd be the other comedian, an Orthodox Jewish comic. That's hilarious. We've never seen that before. And we shot some test footage, and it came out really good. And like,
you're like,
I was funny. I was dynamic. and again, like, I think that it was like, it's a weird thing where I kind of like almost needed that producer's permission to become a comedian. Like once she said that would be hilarious, I was like, oh my gosh, if this pro thinks this is funny, I can do this. And then I had like different people looking into me based on the show, different producers, different managers, agents. So I started taking comedy way more seriously and started doing a lot of shows, especially to perform in front of them, to show them that I could be a comedian. Right. Ultimately, the show fell apart. The producer ended up leaving to a different company. There were a bunch of things, but I was left with a comedy career. And then, you know, you're
like, thanks, bye.
Yeah, basically, like I would have loved the TV show, but this was kind of cool. And, you know, since then I've, you know, been lucky enough, thank God, to just get like some really awesome opportunities to be at the Laugh Factory. You know, like,
yeah, how did you end up at the Laugh Factory?
So after, you know, like doing a bunch of shows and taking risks, I had like a bunch of really, you know, big people coming to look at me. I was friends with Tehran. We were writing some scripts at the time, and I was like, hey, I need these people to like see me. And he's like, I'll put you on my show. And I was like, really? Like, you don't have to. And he's like, no. He's like, if you feel like, I trust you, if you feel like you're ready, then come do it. But, you know, like this, like, welcome to the big leagues. Right. And I was able to bring all these producer people who, you know, saw me, saw Tehran. So, you know, it was good for both of us, but he really gave me that opportunity to shine. And, you know, it ended up working out. The show went really well. And after that, Tehran at first was like, you know, whenever I had someone cool that needed to see me, he would give me, you know, the opportunity to do, you know, 7-10 minutes on a show. And then eventually Chris Red from SNL was kind of like closing out a show every Thursday for a while. And I looked at Tehran one night when
there's
we were like,
a lot of awesome people that go there, like including you guys, obviously. But like,
but no, there's some crazy, like,
yeah,
I've done 3 shows with Kevin Hart. Like, it's pretty insane. You know, Tiffany, like you mentioned before, Tiffany Haddish, all these crazy people. So then I kind of like one night when we were writing, I told Tehran, I was like, one day I'm going to do your show every week. And he's like, look, I love you, Menachem, but I don't think it's going to happen. I was like, okay.
That's literally him.
I'm like, I'm putting it into the universe.
Yes.
And he's like, okay, we'll see. And, you know, a little while later, I was, you know, for a while opening up his Monday show every week. And then now when he was doing the Monday and Thursday, now he's just doing the Thursday. And I get to, you know, be a producer on the show and help run the show, put the show together. And I get to, you know, be a part of that every week, which is crazy. And then now I am, you know, producing my own show monthly, and we've been selling it out, which is pretty crazy.
Well, congratulations for that. But how long have you been doing it, or how long have you been at the Laugh Factory, per se?
So I've been at the Laugh Factory for, I think my first time was like 6.5, 7 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's almost a decade, or you're
almost
getting
a decade.
there.
Yeah, which is really cool and special. And, you know, like, again, shout out to Tehran, to Jamie Masada, you know, for making this happen. And, you know, the whole team there now, like, you know, David Fuhrer at the president, Rihanna the Booker, like the whole team, you know.
Yeah, it's a community for sure.
It really is. And I think, you know, like, again, like I don't want to leave anyone out, like, you know, Dan Mitchell, like everyone, it takes an army to run anything, especially a club. Right. But it's really cool to get to be a part of like the Laugh Factory history, because it's like one of the best clubs in the world.
Yeah.
You know, you've been there. It's like, it's so special to be a part of that. And I'm really lucky that I'm able to, and I was able to, and I continue to be able to. Right.
Did you pray for it, or did you manifest?
Yeah, I really am big into manifestation. I think that it was funny because I was speaking to someone about this yesterday. I think that as people, we are rarely like satisfied and happy with what we have. It's like, we want something, we get it, we want more. What's we next? Get that, we want more, we want more. So somebody, a showrunner friend of mine, tweeted something, and he's like, did you accomplish what your 12-year-old self set, like the goals he set for you? And for me, when I was younger, there were 3 things that I wanted to do. I wanted to become a regular at a comedy club. That was like a dream.
Check.
I wanted to be on Jimmy Kimmel, which was like, again, it's random that's the one I picked, but I was like, that one.
Check.
And I wanted to sell a script. And I've accomplished my goals. And like, there's obviously more things that I want to do, but I think it's such an important thing to like take a moment and like really look back and be like, wow, I really was able to accomplish the goals that I set forth.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to always set new goals and try to grow and be bigger and better, but take a step back and look how far you've come. Like,
absolutely.
If I told my younger self, like, I'd be on the marquee of the Laugh Factory, if I'd be headlining my own birthday show to a sold out audience, like, I wouldn't believe myself.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. And I agree with that. I have moments like that too. I'm like, I'm actually living my childhood dream, or like I'm doing those things that I wished, So that's so cool. Has it been challenging though? Or has it always been?
No, I'm saying everything is always a challenge for sure, especially with anything creative where everything's so subjective. With comedy, you'll say a joke in front of an audience. They will give you an applaud break. And you're like, oh my gosh, that's the greatest joke I've ever written. And then you'll go the next night and perform it in another club and you'll get laughs.
Yeah.
Then you'll do it a third time and you'll kind of get like giggles. And you're like,
yeah.
And you kind of look at the audience, you're like, no. Like, this deserves an applaud break. Yeah. Trust me.
Did you hear me?
Did you hear it? Right? Did you? And it's also, so again, it's like comedy subjective. The way you say it is subjective, etc. The same thing happened to me with the script. It was the weirdest thing. So I wrote this fun script and I'm so proud of it. I'm like, this is amazing. I sent it out to a bunch of people, like 2 writers that I look up to, and they're a writing team and like they're so successful. I love them. They're amazing. They read the script and they're like, Menachem, we love you. We love your writing. Great concept. It reads like a first draft, which means that like the first, version that you wrote before you edited it, it needs a lot of work. It can get there, but it's definitely not there yet. And I was really sad. I'm like, oh, I put all this work. I thought it was so good. And they didn't see it. Within a few hours, I got an email back from a showrunner that she has a huge Netflix show. And she read the script and she told me that it was one of the best scripts she's ever written.
I was going to say.
She's ever read.
Yes.
And she showed it to her daughter and was like, you should read this to know what script writing's about.
Yes.
And I'm like, it's the same script.
100%.
I didn't change a word.
Yes. That's when someone tells me no, I'm like, oh, I'm talking to the wrong person. Because if I believe in something, I'm like, I know it's good. Because I'm a harsh critic and I'm a perfectionist. So if I believe in something, it's good. And if someone tells me no, I'm like, oh, they can't see the vision. Like,
kind of. But I think
was happened. Like, yeah,
for sure. But it's also it's such a hard thing with art where like my favorite movie is different than your favorite movie, and my favorite TV show is different than yours, and my favorite piece of art, blah. So I think that it's a weird thing where there's good and there's bad, but then there's a lot of middle ground where like you can be like Tiffany Haddish is a movie star. I know a lot of people that are like, she's not that funny. She's not that good. And you're like,
yeah, not everyone is for everyone.
Yeah.
But you're for someone,
For sure. But I think that definitely makes this harder for sure, where, and like, especially again, we'll go back to like the stand-up comedy. When you're performing live, you'll have your highs and your lows and your better shows and your worst shows. And I think that you have to, like you're saying, believe in yourself and be your own best, your own advocate. And like, if
100%.
you think it's funny and you know that it works, okay, maybe I should tweak it a little. Maybe I use a different word. Maybe I pause a little more.
For sure. There's room for suggestions, or like you can, but I always I feel like the skeleton is usually like the core, and then you can add and change like small minor things.
For sure. But I think that one of the best pieces of advice I got when it comes to stand-up specifically also is bad comedians, the jokes are 100% for themselves and 0% for the audience. Middle comedians, it's like 70% for the audience, 30% for themselves. And real amazing pro comics, it's 100% for the audience. Like at the end of the day, like you're trying to make people laugh, and the jokes really should be jokes that can make as many people laugh as possible.
Right. Yeah, that's good advice. Do you still get nervous? Or are you like numb now?
You're
numb. Like, just another night at the Laugh Factory.
I think that there are certain things that make me more comfortable than others. The bigger shows, like I did a show a few weeks ago for 2,600 people. in Florida, I was very comfortable, but like the initial like moment was like, okay, there's a lot of people, let's go.
Yeah.
When it comes to the Laugh Factory, I'm usually pretty comfortable. When I do my own show, it's a little bit scarier than when I perform in front of, let's say, just like a random audience. Because when I perform in front of a random audience, like I just go up for Tehran's show, there's no expectations. They don't know me. They're not expecting anything from me. I might never see them again.
Yeah.
You know, so it's totally chill. I can just go and have a blast. When it's my audience, it's like, oh my gosh, they know me. They like even this past week. So I did 2 shows, my birthday show and then Tehran's show. I feel like I did way better on Tehran's show. Not that I did bad on the first show, but on the first show, it's like, it's new material that they haven't heard before, because if they keep coming to shows, I want to make sure that I have a new 15 minutes for them. And then the second, like, and they also are people that know me, know my family, whatever it is. But the second it was like Tehran's show, I was able to just like let loose, have fun, relax.
Exactly. I think that's what it is too. Okay. Well, I want to shift into something a little deeper.
Okay.
Love him or hate him, some people think, how could you be so heartless? Kanye West made worldwide reaction-filled comments against the Jewish community. As someone who is an advocate for your community, how did that feel? Like, how did you feel hearing those words from him?
It was definitely a mix. I'm a big fan of Kanye. Like, I think, well, not his politics, his music.
His art.
No, like, again, I love his music, Power, Heartless, like all these songs, like, you know, especially anyone who goes to the gym, like these are like pump up songs and these are great. To me, it wasn't as hurtful as it was to most people, because I could see the mental illness right away. Like, just the things he was saying, the way he was saying, the speed he was saying it at, the platforms he was using, the way he was dressing. Clearly, it was a cry for help. The only thing that does get very scary is his fans don't always see that. He has so many millions of fans and millions of people who are being affected by it and taking advantage of the mental illness. Like, him coming out with a song, you know, N-word Hail Hitler as the chorus, like, that's mentally ill. Mentally ill. The fact that there was someone who directed the music video and there was someone who acted in the music video, and like Andrew Tate on Twitter is like, has a video walking to a car, turning it on and driving it. I think that it's people like taking advantage of somebody who's mentally ill. And I feel like he needs better people around him and better friends and, you know, people who love him to like stop him from doing things like that and not feeding into it. So I feel like when he does the things, it's obviously clearly like nasty, terrible, evil things. But to me, it just seems like immense mental illness. And the more hurtful thing to me is like the people around him that are allowing him to perpetuate these things and not just like as friends and people who love him stop him. And then I think that it's also just unfortunate where like a lot of people who are fans of his just, you know, take him seriously and then are like, if Kanye says this, we can. If Kanye thinks this, we should. Right.
I understand. Did it change your view of him as an artist? Like how you felt prior to him saying that versus now?
So
do you still like his music?
I can't deny it. Like, he is an amazing artist. I think R. Kelly songs are beautiful and R. Kelly's a terrible person. You know, like, thank God Hitler made shitty art. So it's easier to separate the art from the artist. So I think that, you know, like, his music is still good music. I just don't want to support that and support that kind of behavior. And I know like last week he like met with a rabbi and like apologized and stuff. And he's done that before. And I hope it works. And I hope he gets the help that he can, because I think that, you know, to me, it's a lot of these like Jewish stereotypes are like age old. And it's like really sad to see someone who, again, is very talented, you know, allow mental illness to like take over and perpetuate all this terrible, crazy stuff.
Right.
But so I haven't really listened to Kanye since, which is sad because, again, Power was, you know, a saved song for sure.
Do you forgive him?
I would be willing to forgive him if I truly see the work and him taking proper care of himself. Like, you know, him talking to a rabbi, which it was kind of weird. He chose like such a random rabbi, but like if he really, you know, like checks himself into, you know, a rehab, a hospital, is on his medication, etc., I think that almost anyone can be forgiven. And I think there should be a path to forgiveness, because I feel like we as people, like, I can see how people turn corrupt. I can see how people become evil. I can see how power takes over, how money takes over, how, you know, just situations and experiences, you know, ruin people. So I think that like in Judaism, there's the concept of teshuvah, and teshuvah means like the opportunity to kind of like get back on the right path, that like you veer off the path. And like the concept of teshuvah is just like getting on. It's not necessarily like repenting. It's more like, oh my gosh, I am lost. And now let's like, you know, find a righteous path, whatever that righteous path is for you. So in this moment right now, I don't forgive him for the hate that he perpetuated, but I think that him speaking to a rabbi is a great first step. Like Nick Cannon said some weird things, but I feel like I forgive Nick Cannon. He really, you know, like hasn't said anything since. Had a rabbi on his podcast. It seems like he, you know, really grew. He had, you know, my friend Kosha Dills and Ormash, 2 Jews, on his show. I got to meet him. He was really sweet and nice to me. So like, I think that, you know, just because somebody does something terrible or says something terrible doesn't make them for sure a terrible person, but they have to be willing to change.
Right.
Do you still listen to Kanye? Don't answer that. Okay. N-word, Hail Hitler. It's a great song. That's the worst part. It's really catchy.
Right. I can't imagine how tough that must have been for you. But one positive outcome from this was that you ended up on Dr. Phil. You guys, how did you end up on Dr. Phil? Like, how did that happen? Who called who?
So what was funny was Tehran and I had a mutual friend who was a producer on Dr. Phil.
Okay.
And I had this weird experience where a friend of mine and me were sitting and working at a coffee shop, commissary in Fairfax. And this random looking white guy walks up to us and says, "There's another Holocaust coming for you Jews."
Wow.
And this was right after like the first Kanye outbreak. And I kind of posted about that. And I think that it was like between me posting about that and this friend of ours being a producer on Dr. Phil, she reached out and she was like, "Hey, we're having like a bunch of different people talking about, you know, talking about it. And you're an Orthodox Jew and a rabbi and a comedian, like you'd be a good perspective. Like, can you come do the show?" And again, like I never thought I'd be on Dr. Phil. It was such like a random show, but I'm like, you know what? I really would want to. But it was kind of an interesting experience for a couple of reasons. And I hope I can talk about it. Yeah, I can talk about this. So the first thing was, they're like, "Okay, can you send us an audition tape just so we can kind of get you approved by the producers? We're not going to use it at all." And I was about to shoot it in my pajamas. And I decided, I'm like, you know what? Let me at least put on like a shirt and pants. And what's funny is I put the shirt and pants on that I was going to wear the next day on Dr. Phil.
Oh, okay.
So what's funny is in the video and on stage, I'm wearing the same clothes. But yeah, so I filmed it and they put the entire thing, not only in the show, as an ad for the show. So it was like, "Stay tuned tonight on Dr. Phil," and then like put it on. I'm like, wow, like thank God I filmed it right. Thank God I was like, I looked nice. So I didn't love that. There were elements of the show that were a little sketchy. Also, what was kind of bizarre to me, they had a bunch of different kinds of like Jews and rabbis, which was great. But they also had like pastors on the show to talk about anti-Semitism. And to me, I'm like, what's like a priest and a pastor doing talking about anti-Semitism? Like it would be like me being on a panel to talk about like racism and Black Lives Matter. Like, I don't feel like I'm out of my depth. So that was kind of interesting that he had like both perspectives, but it definitely ended up being cool. And it's a good calling card.
Yeah. So like, how was that waking up and be like, "Oh, I'm going to be on Dr. Phil tonight"? Like, what?
What was even crazier was my sister-in-law was getting married. So we were flying the same day to Chicago. You're like, "Guys, I got to wrap it up. I have a wedding to go to." Literally. Yeah. So I kind of like, my plan was based on the timing, I was supposed to be able to drive to set, film, drive home, and go with my family to the airport. Everything was running so late that like my family jumped in an Uber. I ended up
Yeah.
parking by the airport and I like almost missed the flight. It was kind
Wow.
of like an insane situation, but it ended up working out and it was cool. And I got to meet like some really cool people like Sam Yubari, who was on the show with me. Like he's a friend of mine now, just from
Yeah.
like us being on
Oh, that's
Dr.
so
Phil together.
cool.
So it's cool. And Dr. Phil was very nice. He was very nice to me. So tall. Oh my gosh.
Really?
Huge.
Do you feel like that boosted your career or your fame or anything?
Yeah, I think it's definitely, you know, like we're in an industry where like perception is really important. Also staying busy is really important. So it's like what's kind of funny is on your IMDb page, you never want like a blank year. You always want like a credit. So it's like, I've been busy.
Yeah.
I've been staying busy.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like cool to get the credit, but also now I have a clip where Dr. Phil's like my next guest, writer and comedian, Menachem Silverstein.
That's cool.
So for my like reel, that's how it opens up, where Dr. Phil's like my next guest, comedian and writer Menachem Silverstein, and then it goes into like my other stuff. So that was definitely
That's
fun.
cool. Nice. Okay. So speaking of platforms and being brave, this takes us to the segment I call the positive segment, another tool to your toolbox. So today I want to talk about keeping your values but choosing your path, which we've touched base on a little bit. Growing up in a strong or a strict or religious family, they might have a plan or a wish for you that doesn't align with what you want to do or your calling. And I do believe that you should absolutely respect them and take their wisdom. But at the same time, you have to listen to your heart and you have to live your own life. And I feel like sometimes now as an adult, I could be driving and then I just get a thought or like an opinion of something. And then I'm like, wait, that's not mine. That's my family's or a parent. But now I catch them. I'm like, wait, do I really think so? So now I'm like more aware of it. But how is like your experience or like what advice would you give young adults that are in these families and they have dreams that doesn't really align with what their parents wish?
I think the best advice that I can give them is like, if this is something that you truly want, your parents will come around. Because at the end of the day, what your parents or family want from you, hopefully, is to be happy, like you were saying about yours. So in their mind, they're like, if you are A, B, and C, you will be happy.
Yeah.
And if you truly, you know, look into yourself and you're like, I won't be happy as a lawyer, I won't be happy as a doctor, I will be happy doing this, you have to know two things. Usually the creative thing that you want is going to be a lot harder than you think. But if you truly stick with it, your parents, you know, we hope will come around when they see that you're happy. But it's also just, you know, like you have to know that that's another thing working against you. Like with anything that's, you know, in the creative industry, you have so much working against you.
Yeah.
And not having your like family support at the beginning is going to be an extra thing. And like, is that the burden that you want to take? But if you really feel passionately enough and you really, you know, like believe in yourself enough, you have to know like, do I believe in myself enough to get through this storm?
Yeah.
And then at the other side, hopefully they will believe in me too. Because what's so funny, this is about family, this is about friends, this is about everyone. It's like, people don't support you when you need the support. People don't support you when you have 2 followers on Instagram and you tell them that you're going to be famous.
Yeah.
People support you when you book a Netflix show or a Netflix special. You get to the Laugh Factory when you made it. And then the support is important, but it's like, you know, so you have to know that if you get into this, you have to believe in yourself enough to push past all of those things.
Absolutely.
Because when I told my friend at first, like when I was 13, my friend was like, what do you want to do when you're older? And I was like, I want to write movies. And he was like, religious Jews don't write movies.
Yeah.
And that kind of was hurtful to me because I was like, but that's what I want to do.
My thing is, don't say, just do. And then they're like, wait, what? Like, not necessarily like just family, like even friends. Like, you don't always have to express what you're doing or what you like. Like, if they get it, cool. Yeah, you can talk about that. But if not, just do your own thing. And then it will show up and they're like, wait, that's so cool. That's usually like how they react. They're like, wait, I didn't know. Like, because they can't see the vision.
Yeah.
You have that. And then once you make it, that's when they can see it.
And I think that there's 2 more like little pieces of advice that I give within that. I think that it's important to like surround yourself with peers at a similar level as you, even if it's in a different art form. But like, if they're as delusional as you,
Yes.
then it also helps because you feel less crazy when there's someone else that's like going through a similar thing.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing when it comes to being creative, like, don't be scared to be delusional and be delusional.
Yeah.
Like there was this amazing scene in the movie Inception where one character is like, bad guys are attacking them in the dream, and one guy takes a gun and it's a small gun, and then Tom Hardy's character comes with like a way bigger gun.
Love that movie.
He's like, you can't be scared to dream a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
I have a friend, Zusha Golden. He's an amazing photographer. And one year we're making our vision boards of what we're going to accomplish that year.
Yeah.
And he wrote 5 A-list celebrities that he wanted to photograph. And I looked at him and I added a 2 in front of it. And I was like, 25. Like, who dreams of 5? Like,
yes.
Like, push,
I love that. I'm that friend too. Yeah.
And what happens is he ends up getting hired by Deadline to shoot I think it was like their Emmy contenders. Over the course of a weekend, he shot 25 A-list celebrities.
Wow.
And I'm not taking full credit, but I think that it's like.
But you're taking a little credit.
So look, I'm not taking credit for 25. I'm taking credit for 20. He can have credit for 5.
Yes.
But I think that that's like, it's important to be that delusional, because we're working in a delusional business. Like one day I wasn't on Dr. Phil, then I was on Dr. Phil. And it's like one day I wasn't on Jimmy Kimmel, then I was. It happens very quickly.
Like that. But also so when it happens like overnight or something, like usually there's a lot that you did and sacrificed and invested prior, and then that's what they see. And they're like, oh, this overnight or this one opportunity. Yeah, something could boost like your career, but I feel like there's a lot that goes into it prior. And also I would say do something that is like stable while you're figuring it out too. So you're not just like, because I learned that the harder way. But yeah, I feel like if you have something that is a little bit stable and then do that on the side, and then once that picks up, deuces,
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Like, don't be embarrassed to have a full-time job. I think that that's really important. Like for me, when I moved out here, I had an awful job in market research. My friend who gave me the job was so sweet, and it was so nice that he gave it to me, but it wasn't for me. Like, that's not what I wanted to do, and that's not where I saw myself. But I needed to, support myself and my wife, and then, we had kids right away. And I think that allowed me to go and be creative. And if you're just kind of creative on your own, it's like, if you're just being creative and expecting to make money off of it right away, that's also kind of like a way bigger burden than you need, because making money being creative is so hard. If you have another form of income, you can really just like figure out how to make money being creative.
And I always say,
there's a lot of money to be made.
For sure.
But you have to know what you're doing.
But that sometimes comes later on. And I feel like a lot of people think like that's like, if you're motivated solely by money, it's going to be very hard, because there's a lot, like you really need to have a passion for it. And I always say, like, when people are like, oh, how did you know? Like, it's something you would do for free. Yeah.
But it's also like, even let's say like with comedy, you can make a lot of money doing comedy, but it takes a while. You need to like, year 1, you're not ready, or 2 or 3 or 4. Like you have to really put in the time and effort to like become a great performer and put together an awesome performance, then build your name and build your reputation.
And believe in yourself.
And believe in yourself.
All the odds are against you.
Yeah, exactly. Or script writing. It's like your first script might be good, but it's not going to be as good as your second or as your third. And it takes time to cultivate all these things.
What is something you wish you learned sooner regards to career?
Sign language. Okay.
Do you really know?
No, I wish. My dad actually learned, which is so cool. When I was younger, I learned like the alphabet, and then I forgot. Okay. Yeah, I think that's so, like, people who can, do all that stuff is really cool. What's something that I wish that I knew when I was younger? I think the first thing is part of what we were just saying, which is like patience. Where a lot of times, like Jeff Ross once said, he's like, it took me 10 years to become an overnight success. Yeah. And I think that really is like, if you want to do this, it's really like, it takes a long time.
For sure.
And I think that, like telling myself it takes a long time and giving being patient with myself, because, I think that definitely at the beginning it was a lot harder, whereas like, why isn't it going faster? Why am I doing this? Like, I got kind of like weirdly lucky where like, literally like a year and a half, maybe 2 years into my writing career, I pitched Lionsgate a TV show, and they said they're buying it.
That's so cool.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I sold a show. And then on Monday they passed.
That's so cool.
But for a weekend, I had sold a show a year and a half in, and I was like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
everyone says this is so hard. It's so easy.
Yeah.
And then I hit my struggle where it was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I couldn't get a meeting and I couldn't, and it took a
Yeah.
long time. And I think that's like, you know, be patient with yourself, allow yourself to grow, give yourself, you know, time,
For sure.
be your own best advocate. And,
Yeah.
you know, the world is trying to beat you down. Don't beat yourself down.
Yes. The world is already testing you, so like be kind to yourself. I would love to talk more about script and stuff off camera. We'll talk about
Sweet,
that because
please.
I love writing too. But where can people find you?
So you can find me on the social medias. So on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook recently. I thought
Okay.
Facebook was done. And now
Yeah.
like Instagram sent me to Facebook and it's like, if you post the same reels, you'll get more money. And it's like, I'm making money on Facebook now, which is kind of,
Really?
yeah, which who would have guessed?
Yeah.
But yeah, so Menachem Silverstein across most platforms except Menachem S on TikTok because I got in early.
Okay.
And Menachem Silver on X because Silverstein is too long, which feels a little anti-Semitic. Like Menachem Silverstein is too, like, you know, my full name is Menachem Silverstein, but
That
they don't
is
even let
funny.
Menachem Silverstein. And if you don't know how to spell Menachem, then I guess I don't deserve the follow. It has the ch, it's hard.
I've actually never had a hard time pronouncing your name. Like the first time you told me, I'm like, got it.
But I feel like because you guys have a ch,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
lucky. Because in like America, it's like that letter
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
exist.
No, I get it.
It's kind of like how you guys don't roll your R's either.
R.
Like Spanish, it's like like you have a little.
Are.
But we have, because like you guys have the H and the
Mm-hmm.
so we have that. Like I think
Yeah.
our like Hebrew,
Yeah.
you know, like Yiddish, which is Hebrew
Yeah.
and German,
But
and
also,
like
I
we have
speak
all those
Swedish,
things.
and we have like like we have like
Oh, that's cool.
yeah. So like I feel like I just
So you
I'm
have
just-
all of
yeah,
you
I
have it all
literally
down
have
pat.
all of
That's
them.
really cool. So
Okay.
wait, how many languages do you speak?
I speak English, Farsi, Swedish. I understand Norwegian, and I also understand Spanish, but I never say it because I feel like I'll reply in English. You know,
But where do you know Swedish from? Like where?
Swedish. I grew up in Sweden. I was born here. I grew up in Sweden, so I was there my whole life.
Oh, that's so cool. But both your parents are Persian.
Mm-hmm.
What brought them to Sweden?
Like business.
Very cool.
Yeah, they were actually back and forth between here and Sweden, but
Nice.
I was born here, but grew up
Awesome.
there. Yeah. Lastly, do you have any projects going on, or what's up next for you?
So what's up next is where I'm putting together 2 tours at the same time, which is kind of cool.
Okay.
I'm teaming up with 2 different headliners. We're going to do like a co-headliner tour. One's going to be like end of January, early February, and the next one is going to be end of March, early April. So stay tuned. I'm going to be posting about those soon. And then, you know, some really cool writing / filming projects that I can't really talk about, but stay tuned. Hopefully some really cool big things happening.
That's so good. Congratulations
so much.
again. Thank you so much for coming on the Aligned Dish podcast. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all for listening to this episode of Aligned Dish. Make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Instagram at Emily Azizi and at Aligned Dish Podcast. Thank you guys for listening. Bye.